Okay, let's make sure this is working because I just did this very quickly this morning. You might have seen me accidentally go live. I don't even know how that happened. Good afternoon, everybody. It's lunchtime, and I do have Genshin. You can hear the music in the background. But I want to talk about something first. So yesterday I said that I was gonna go and chill with my brother, which I did. We went over to a Dunkin' Donuts and we were just gonna chill there because of the air conditioning and stuff like that. Um, so what was meant to just be a chill out, hang out a little bit because I haven't been able to do that for like 3 weeks given his living situation. So to rewind, um, he was living with my parents, um, because mainly because of his disability. He is autistic. On I guess now they just say like autism spectrum. But what the formal diagnosis was back in the day was called Asperger's. But so that was his living situation. The worst part about the whole thing, in just that in general, was the lease situation on the apartment. Um, my parents were friends with the landlord, specifically the one like. So again, this is where it's gonna get messy, guys. The OG landlord is the one they were friends with. I can't specifically say if they were friends with the wife or not, but my parents were looking for a different place to live. This was when I was 16, so many, 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 many moons ago. I am 41, if people want to know. There was no lease. Basically, it was a trust me, bro. My mom was always fearful of that. Always. And hold up, my background vanished. Eh, doing that. Oh, I think I see why. Yep. I didn't hit the button. I didn't hit a button. That's okay. Um, my mom was always fearful of not having a lease because if anything got broken or damaged, she feared eviction and stuff like that. But I will also point out, as a landlord, however, you're the one that decided to do that for the lease, okay? You're the one that decided to do that. It's still your property, it's your responsibility to make sure things are maintained, okay? I lived there till 5 years ago. And that's, cost of living and all that stuff. Families kind of just stay together. So my husband and I lived there until 2020, just literally just before the pandemic. Literally just before the pandemic. So flash forward to the beginning of 2023, and our mother passed away. My mom was diagnosed with cancer for the second time. She suffered a fall, and what the frick is. Oh. Well, that's just fitting for me, I guess. I had to set it to loop. Anyway, it's kind of nice that I'm making myself laugh at the most. Well, here's the situation. It's sad. Oh, my thing's not working. Make myself laugh because I'm gonna cry otherwise. Um, our mother passed away and suffered a fall. She had been diagnosed with cancer for the second time. This time it was a colon cancer. She had to have surgery that was done in October of that year. And she passed away near the end of January. This caused a huge problem for many reasons. My mom was a head of that household. She was the head of that household. And she is the one that took care of all the bills. She was taking care of like trying to get appointments and stuff like that for my brother, which I'll get into because that's a part of this issue. And my father, who had suffered, I think, two big strokes, like full blown strokes, and it was diagnosed that he had mini strokes at one point. Also with underlying a lot of underlying conditions and stuff like that too. He has a heart condition. Um, uh, what is stubbornness? Can that be considered as condition too? But the strokes in particular put its toll on a lot of people. And if my mom was still around, she would definitely deny that, it's not affecting her because there were times that you could just tell that she was just not having it, like that she was just done. Um, but this meant my brother, who, as he puts it, could barely take care of himself. He can take care of himself. I want to preface this. He can cook. He can clean. He needs to learn how to do a little bit more of a deep cleaning, but he can do that. Um, the biggest thing is that he can't really go anywhere by himself. He gets thrown into panic attacks a lot because of it. So, like, if he were to go into an apartment by himself, like on Sundays, like I would just reprise just going back up on Sundays. And if he wanted to do laundry on Sundays, I would, help him do that. I would go to the laundry room with him and, make sure you got everything done and whatnot. Like, he has a support system. Keep that in mind. But, it, it was putting a toll on him enough where he just really couldn't take care of our dad. And with, I was working, my husband at the time was working in, I'm trying to say, sorry. He was working about 30 minutes away. So it was an hour drive in total. So, gas was a thing and whatnot. So we were only going up once a week. And then we had the family drama happen with one of our cousins. Um, because she was having surgery. And oh God, did she let you know she was having surgery? She was having surgery. And then the other person that was supposed to help out at that time, um, kind of had a mental breakdown too. And I totally understand it. But everything got put onto my husband and I, and that just couldn't happen. And instead of letting us, kind of be angry and frustrated and give us time away, it became the cousin's idea to falsely say that there was a restraining order against my husband and I, and we were not allowed at the house. So that meant that I had no contact with my brother or my father. I think for 2 months or something like that. Because that happened. I want to say that happened in May of that year, and then I got in touch with my brother slowly. Like he had to be in touch with me, and he did it in the way he knew how, which I have learned that is a autistic thing. The way he went about it. So I now understand that. So thank you, thank you, Paul. So when it became to the point where he really couldn't take care of our father, another cousin had taken our father in, and in doing so effectively left my brother at that apartment, just completely abandoning him there. No way to pay the rent, no nothing. And he was on the list for housing at that point, I believe. But I've had a couple friends who have been on that kind of list before, and it's taken like 5 years. But that's, like what's going to be harder to get, a family unit, like a multiple bedroom, or a one bedroom? And I think the family units were the harder ones to get. But if I believe if kids are involved, it might be faster to fill them up too. So I mean, that's just the logical part of my brain thinking that. So in hindsight, there was definitely a lot of things that probably could have been done faster. But what it resulted in was effectively him squatting there with nowhere to go, and not unable to be paying rent. Because even if he could afford the rent there, he would have had no money for food or anything else. So we knew it was going to come. He was going to get officially evicted. The problem was is that the landlord did it improperly, because you gotta be served those papers, guy. And they didn't do that. They put it in an envelope that said, the city police on it, which was totally looking like it was home printed. And yeah, and it was taped to the door. So they went to court, and the judge was like, this was kind of also a weird one. Said to the landlord, basically asking about the lease. My brother and his friend, who was speaking for him, because in situations like this, my brother will actually go nonverbal because the stress is high and he goes into a panic mode. But they confirmed with the judge that there was no lease, as I told you guys before. And landlord goes, "No, there is a lease." "Well, do you have a copy of the lease?" "No, because there's none." She then tried to claim my parents had the deed to the property. If my parents had the deed to the property, why were they paying you rent? So the judge uh, basically ruled in my brother's favor for an extended stay. The thing I don't like about that is because he didn't give a cutoff to it. It was like almost indefinite. And I kind of wish this would get defined. And maybe one day we can try to find a definition to what that ruling was supposed to mean. Because basically, it was a lost cause for the landlords and they sold the property. So the new landlord did right, quote unquote, by my brother and served him the papers on the official eviction. So that brought us to when I was helping him with a couple of friends move the stuff that he really cared about out of the apartment and into a storage unit. That was on not the 8th. That was like 2 days before. So I think it was like May 6th or something like that when I did that. And the thing was is that my brother was going to be staying with his best friend, but what was not disclosed to me was the cutoff. Now, this is a normal thing that was going to happen. Our apartment has these kind of stipulations and rules too, where if you have somebody who's not on the lease, they only have an X amount of stay with you. But that was not disclosed to me. So I knew I should have known it was there, but it would have been nice, like, hey, he only has like X amount of time to stay. But in that time frame, things were moving. My brother was moved up onto, apparently he's on like 2 different lists for housing. He's in the teens for both, so it's not terrible, but at the same time, it's not going to be like, hey, I have a week with my sister, because that would be the cutoff and he would get into housing. Like that wasn't going to happen like that. Like there are rules, there are, time frame, uh, stuff like that. It's going to take a while. So while we were chilling, or just before, his friend had told us that he was expecting a call from welfare. So this whole time, they have been dealing with welfare and they've treated my brother like trash. Like they're not compassionate, they're not listening, and so on and so forth. Um, and the last time they heard from welfare, they were trying to ship him off to a city that's hours away, or rather an hour away, I think it is. But somebody who's autistic, cannot drive, and has nobody there, that support structure is all gone. So why would you do that? Why would you do that? Now, the actual answer in the textbook's answer, the scripted answer, well, it's the only spot in the state in the shelter. Well, if he's couch surfing, why does he have to go to a shelter? Well, at least in my state, to be considered homeless, you have to be put into a shelter. staying with family and friends does not count as being homeless, which isn't right. I have to state this, and this was a big part of what happened yesterday that actually really pissed me off. So, after that first, hey, you need to go to this spot because that's the only place we have for you, and you need to be in a shelter. My brother has a doctor's note from his physician saying it's unwise and not viable for him to go to a shelter because of his autism. And like I said, when he gets into high stress situations, he becomes nonverbal. So, how is that going to help anybody? My brother and his friend got legal aid involved. And somehow it's just like, I don't know if the lawyer got them to reconsider or something or whatever it was. But while we were sitting at the dunks, he gets an email. Now, it was supposed to be a phone call. And I almost want to guarantee, because that email went through very, very quickly, I want to say. Uh, and honestly, I want to say my brother has voicemail set up too. So, like, leave a fucking voicemail, you twats. Apparently we didn't have cell service inside the dunks, and he got the email stating that they were trying to send him to that spot again and that he had to sign paperwork by 4. We didn't see this email, and he got pinged for the email. Okay, I want to point that out. He got pinged for the email at just about 3 o'clock. So his friend who he'd been staying with didn't have the car because his girlfriend had the car, and I don't drive either for reasons. Even if I did, I wouldn't have the car because my husband did. So I was like, okay, do you want me to, contact my friend Kim? I know she would be like with her daughters and stuff like that, but kind of an emergency, and the only one I know that's available probably. So Kim came right out when I told her the situation, and big much love, hugs to Kim because she's been a solid trooper and a rock during this whole thing for me. She came out and got us, and we went over and picked up the friend as well because we had to get down there. So we get down to where the welfare office is, and originally I was just going to let them take care of it because they were the ones dealing with the entire thing. So I know bits and pieces, most of the story, but I have not been involved in any of these talks so far. And something in my gut told me to go inside. And I looked at Kim and I said, hey, if I get arrested, just find a way to bail me out. Because I was furious. Because effectively, what he had to do was he was going to be shipped off to that city because he needed to be in a shelter to be considered homeless. So we get up to the welfare office. He is shutting down completely. And the woman comes up. And if you want a real life incarnate of Patty and Selma from The Simpsons, this bitch was it. Okay? So she's not even really smiling and everything. And like, what can I do for you? And I paused and I said, this is my brother. He is autistic. And I basically kind of did the show emote from 14, like, ta-da. I'm like, look at him, please. Understand this. Get this through your freaking thick skull that he is not okay and terrified. And he is homeless. He is here to actually sign something because you guys want to ship him off to this place where he has no support system, no structure. And she was trying to give me the scripted answer and the basically, I don't give a shit what you're saying. And I went, no, I don't want to hear that. If this was your family or anyone you loved, would you do that? She tried to do the scripting. And I was like, no, I don't want that bullshit answer. I want the ethical answer. Your answer. And she went off on me saying she wasn't going to deal with it because I swore at her like 3 times saying the F bomb. Oh my God, words hurt so much. So she just stormed off. And apparently, Right after I had said, "This is why people like you shouldn't have a job here." She apparently flipped me off. I didn't catch it, but my brother and the friend did. So we're standing there at the window still because, again, he was supposed to sign something. So the question is, did I fuck something up for him at this point? And I went, well, what has welfare done for you currently? Like, what have they actually done for you? And they both went, nothing. And I went, well, nothing's lost at this point. The only problem is whatever services they would provide because the missing piece of the puzzle of him going to a shelter. So a nice lady had come around the corner, whether that had been by pure chance or the bitchy lady went, go deal with this. I don't want to deal with that. This lady was very kind, excuse me, and listened. So we went into the little office area to speak, and I gave her the ethical question as well. She at least had an answer, which was no, she wouldn't want that. And I was like, his whole system is here. The only ones who can actively do something for him or at least be with him are me and the friend, because his other two close friends don't live in the city anymore, let alone the state. So we brought up everything. I asked question after question, just trying to get to where we can have an understanding. So thankfully, she understood that. And oh, miraculously, there happened to be a bed vacant in one of the local shelters. Now, how convenient is that? And doesn't it come off that the fucking bitch didn't want to look? And basically, calm me down and say, that she's listening and she understands the situation. No, she wouldn't want that to happen either. And stuff like that. Like, there are ways to go about it without being a fucking sea bag. So the sea bag had to come in because she is the professional in that area. The other person was more of the finance side of things, but also kind of did help with talking to, I don't want to say customers, but that's effectively what we were. Because it's still effectively customer service is what they're doing. Civil service, customer service, whatever. Right? You're still dealing with the public. You're still dealing with people. And I, it just irked me a lot. Just a lot. Um, because at this point, again, she's trying to play it off like she's not listening, like she's not caring. She just wants her job to be done and easy. It's like, okay, you're out on your ass. You need to sign this, and then you need to go to a shelter that's like an hour away or 2 hours away, where we have no way of doing that. Like I said, I don't drive and my husband works. So it's like we wouldn't even be able to try to get out there unless it was the weekend and stuff like that. That's also putting us out on money, gas money. And the friend is sharing the car with his girlfriend, who, by the way, have two kids and they all both have special needs. So it's like, no, it's not viable to do that and whatnot. So and me just trying to get an answer as to why the system is the way it is, that you have to be put into a shelter in order to be considered homeless. Because if you have no because like, let's put it this way: if you owned a house with your name on the deed or the property, mortgage, whatever, you own that, you have a piece of paper that tells you that, so you're not homeless. Well, what about renting? You have to sign a lease. Now, keep in mind, my parents didn't because they had connections. But, a normal person would have to sign a lease saying, yes, I live here. I agree to the terms of living here. And that would be like, oh, yep, you're not homeless. So if you're crashing with a friend or family because you don't have a place to go and you are not on that lease, guess what? You're fucking homeless. It's the same picture, Your Honor. But no. Now, the light, nice lady, at the very least, was understanding and, compassionate, saying it's not right, but unfortunately, that's the way it is. Whereas the bitchy lady was just like, kept talking about a hotel. He was like, it's like, well, he needs to go to a shelter because there's no hotel rooms. I was like, I said nothing about a hotel. Now, I know it's a thing, but I said nothing about that. So I reversed the question to her and said, well, how does this work? Because now you're mentioning the hotel. Is it you have to go to a shelter first and then the hotel becomes an option? Like, what is it? And the answer actually is yes. If the shelter has no space, then they default into getting rooms at fixed rates, of course, because deal with the city, all that stuff, in certain hotels around the city. And she was just like, I can just tell you for sure, there is no rooms. I already checked. Like, she's just being an absolute bitch. All right. And I'm like, again, I didn't say that. And they're like, well, they hate talking to me. It's like, yeah, I hate talking to you too. But here I am. And it makes sense that a business might not want that because I was like, yeah, their business is first. And it's like, yeah, and guess who gets kicked out first when they need the rooms? It's like, yes, I get it because they can make more money off a customer than helping somebody like the city. Okay. I get it. It's a business first, but nobody actually said something. And then my brother actually blew my mind because it was him, the one who was breaking down, that actually said this. And he mentioned to me with what money he had, he was willing to put forward putting up in a room for a little bit if he could. So he had asked, like, he's willing to do that, but when he runs out of money, would the city step in and help out? And they both went, that's possibly something we could do. Yeah. But the unfortunate situation still is that he needed to be in the shelter to be considered homeless. So he unfortunately, and now I'm going to start crying. Sorry. He has been put into the local shelter that was there. Um, my issue with this, because I talked to his friend very briefly, um, after the fact. This was a couple hours after the fact. That he was officially dropped off there, but he was not allowed to. The friend was not allowed to go up with him to the rooms, and that was for quote unquote privacy reasons. And I can understand that, but again, you're putting someone who is terrified, one, but is basically shutting down, becoming nonverbal. So you're leaving him without a voice to actually go up and make sure everything is okay. And basically, it's like, I don't want to equate my brother to a child, but it's in the instance of like walking your kid into the classroom, you know what I mean? To show them that it's okay, it's a safe area. And he wasn't allowed that. So I have not heard from my brother this morning yet. I messaged him yesterday about his re-diagnosis for the autism, and I'll get into that in a second. And I haven't heard from him. I messaged another mutual friend of ours to let him know what had happened, and I got messages from him this morning. So he's gonna call Paul when Paul is my brother, by the way, when he gets out of work, and I'm gonna check in with, try to hopefully check in with them after stream, but the other piece of this puzzle, as I mentioned, was the autism diagnosis. So he was diagnosed with it when I believe he was 18 or 19, um, his senior year in high school. And then I don't know how many years later, he had to go through another re-diagnosis. No real reason why that I know of. So if anybody actually knows like the ins and outs of that, kindly let me know. But he has to go through another rediagnosis. And this was something that got brought up before our mom's passing. And she was trying to find a local person to do this because my mom hadn't driven in years and they didn't have a car for I don't know how many years after, before that. Like the car that we had just kept breaking down and stuff like that. So, not really understanding what's going on. Uh, they she couldn't get out to some place, hours away or something like that. The last time he had to get a diagnosis, I think he had to like the place he had to go to was like 2 hours away or something like that. So it's like, is there a local place that does this and just struggling to find a place to do it? But my question is this, like, are you magically thinking, like, are you actually thinking that autism is going to magically disappear? Are you? Like, it just doesn't make sense that you would have to get re-diagnosed for something like that. Especially because it's a spectrum and everyone can have, different qualities of it, and severities of it. And who's to say it doesn't get worse? Because I'm going to point out the mannerisms that my brother now displays, he didn't have when he was first diagnosed. He has basically a tick with his hands that he rubs his hands constantly very, very close to his chest. He wasn't doing that for the longest time. And it's only been in the last, like, since mom died, I think, that it's really come on display about it. And the nonverbal part of it is coming out more and more and more because of stress and everything. So you can't think it magically goes away. So I ended up contacting the only person that I could think of, which was my former supervisor at the radio station, if she had any contacts for me. And she said that she knows some peeps that might be able to help. So I'm going to check in with her later to see if there's been any luck on that front. But that's what happened yesterday. What was meant to just be a little chill hangout session with my brother just turned into me out Karening a Karen, da, 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 and the unfortunate outcome of the piece of the puzzle that needed to be filled. Because I even stated, I was just like, this isn't going to work, and you can see that it's not going to work. So what happens then? Because I know for a fact that he's going to not want to be there and not stay there if he can absolutely help it. Like the situation is just going to get so bad that he's going to shut down. And leaving him with no voice at all is just terrible. And they're like, this was the bitch that said this too. Just kind of rolled her eyes and it's like, well, then an exception probably will be made. And it's like, then why aren't you telling us that? Because hearing that would make you feel better. Hearing that there was at least something local in the city available would make the situation better. Is it the one we wanted? No, because we don't want him in the shelter at all. But just think about it for a second and why I'm kind of being very emotional about it. If I didn't go in with them, my brother wouldn't be in the city anymore. And I would be a lot more terrified for him. And I straight up said, was it because I actually bitched her out at the start? And it probably was. From what our friend said to us, that the lawyer had said, was that these people are kind of like the workers at the DMV and that they kind of make their own rules. My brother and our friend had been dealing with this sea bag practically the entire time that they've been dealing with welfare. And that's how he had been treated. The I don't care, this is what you need to do, get the F away from me. If you lack empathy for the people coming towards you because they need help, which is what you're supposed to do, you shouldn't have that job. You shouldn't be working there. And I don't care if you tell me, oh, well, she just had a bad day. I don't care. I was a receptionist for almost 10 years. I had to deal with plenty of people I didn't want to deal with, some even terrifying. I mean, they may not have looked it, but the attitude they had, oh boy. Like, if they had a strong view, they would come after the hosts of the radio shows. Hell, one of them even tried to call the cops in the radio station on the host for, I believe, quote unquote, hanging up on him, which he didn't do, by the way. The conversation was done. I've had voicemail messages left by insanity, like absolute insanity of people saying that somebody had been kidnapped and had a bomb planted inside of them. Or was it a bomb or a transmitter? It was one of the two. And if I had a nickel, I have 2 nickels, which isn't much, but it's weird that it happened twice. It happened 2 days in a row. Same person, slightly different message. So yeah, in ways, I have dealt with people I don't want to deal with, but I always did it with a smile. And anytime, like me doing this, okay, my background's screwing up and whatever, I chose to crack jokes. It didn't matter that I was talking about something serious or something sad because I needed to laugh. And sometimes it doesn't matter if it makes you look unprofessional. If you need to try to make yourself laugh to, break the ice, make the people who are coming in for help a little less a little more at ease, then do it. Don't have a scowl. Don't heave a heavy sigh or anything. They need your help. And you're kind of there for comfort as well, because you're the one that they're putting all their trust in. If you lack empathy, get the fuck out of my city. Well, my city office. You can stay in the city. I just hope I don't see you. So that's what happened yesterday. I didn't mean to talk that long about it. I'm sorry. But I felt the need to talk about that because, again, it was supposed to be just a nice, fun, chill thing to hang with my brother, maybe make plans for him to come over, because he still pays for like his Disney Plus and stuff. And I don't blame him for that, because if you lose it and the deal is done that he's got, that's bad. But Phineas and Ferb was supposed to start today, and it's just like, hey, let's get together and watch Phineas and Ferb or something like that. And now this has just kind of gone into a disarray. But like I said, I'll contact them later after stream and see what happened. All right. Now that that's over, there we go. I had to look for it. I'm not used to having that screen. Like I said, I just made that this morning. I originally was going to take a screenshot of, I think I was going to do Newbie's Office and be like, yeah, I'll just do this as a mock-up for like a just chatting thing. And I realized I should have left it as just chatting and not Genshin, because I was not playing Genshin actively. Okay. We are just going to be doing dailies as we normally do. Nothing special.
When you lose your way, gaining some altitude. Add Astra.
My PlayStation is actually kind of warm right now, which I don't blame it. I will give a fair warning for tomorrow. So tomorrow for stream, we're gonna see what the weather holds, because we're supposed to have thunderstorms like all day, starting like 8 a.m. So if I deem it not safe, quote unquote, I will post on Blue Sky saying that I won't stream. Again, we have lost the PlayStation once before to power blip, power surge, and during a thunderstorm, and I want to avoid that at all costs. So, ooh, that was quite the Baywatch run. Hi, hun. How you doing? Oh, we're doing it again. Remote play. Ooh. I want to point out, it only blipped like that. I've had the game on the entire time in the background. I had it on for the music for you guys while I was talking. And I only saw the disconnect thing like once. So now that I'm actively playing and it's doing that shit, come on, man. Okay, what would you like for dinner? We still
No need
doing
to be so
Wendy's?
nervous. It's better to take
I
it
think we
easy.
were talking about just doing cheap biggie 5 bags for this week.
Let's fly.
By the way, I can only imagine the actual look on my husband's face when I texted him, being like, hey, can you pick me up here, which is all the way downtown, when it's like, you said that you'd be at the Dunkin's down the street. But the amount of information that was not being said. Because and this is the thing, they've asked the exact same questions I did and everything, and it just kind of went on deaf ears. So because I had just gone guns a-blazing and managed to get the outcome that we did is no short of a miracle, if I'm being honest. And even our friend just went, thank you to me, because he's like, I'm glad you did that, because it got somewhere. And I don't know if it had to do with the fact that, I'm the sister, not the friend. I really thought you guys just took the bus to get over to get a better experience. Honestly, like, I keep forgetting that the bus goes by us. Not gonna lie. Oh, good God.
Open fire.
All right, let me get up here. I'm gonna restart the remote play because it's doing the weird volume thing too, or our audio thing, I should say. Oh my God, are you serious?
Blast off. Open fire. Open fire. Hold on to your hats.
Tell me what you see. He's free.
Shower me with praise. Hold that pose. Ha! Open fire.
Well, the weird laggy thing is bad when I aggro that bitch. Jeez. All right, like I said, let me get over here and I'll grab these. And then I'll restart the remote play. So weird. So weird. Okay, let me pause that. I will be right back and see if I can fix this. If not, I'll struggle with it. It's so strange because like I even just saw like you can see the little bouncing cursor where it says shop. I literally just watched that lag as it loaded back up. So what the heck is going on? That's so weird. It's so weird. Let's. Oh, PlayStation. I'm sorry. What? Why are you so warm, PlayStation? Yeah, there is an input lag. Oh, okay. Well, part of it is just the connection to Genshin. I just saw that like spike from the red to the yellow to normal. So we'll see. It might just be a connection to the servers and that's what's doing it, not so much the remote play, which explains why I didn't really see the disconnect symbol. For the remote play. Let me rephrase that. The disconnect symbol for the remote play. I know there is one for Genshin. Genshin itself. Oh, there it goes again. You gonna disconnect? No? Okay. Honestly, the worst case scenarios, if I have to, I could just stream through the PlayStation for a while until I can figure out what's going on. But that just means I won't have my avatar or like the starting screen and all that stuff. It would just be like, bloop, I'm here. And it went up to 100. We got the disconnect symbol, so that was a little bit of both. Maybe I'll do a speed test too. To quote Tenari, it's one thing after another. And yeah, that is what you do. I just like my bells and whistles, that's all. Honestly, since I think we were just going to do like ley lines today, I might just condense the resin and flip to the main. Since I'm actually farming stuff on my main.
Strike a pop.
Time to say hello. Not too far now.
Shoot bomb. Open fire.
Boom. I wouldn't mind some bells and whistles, but I also like simplistic streaming. We might be able to set stuff up on Twitch itself. I don't know if you'll be able to hear any of the alerts. You might if through your phone, but because like my alerts and stuff like that are set up through Twitch itself, and then I have the display and whatever through OBS. So I'm not really sure what will go through and what won't, but it's possible. Could look at that. Also, I don't know if anybody else who's been streaming lately noticed that the path to affiliate has seemed to have disappeared. I watched a video last night because I was like, yeah, I noticed that that's gone. I don't think they're like getting rid of it per se because it's, you know, it's a tiered system and what it provides and whatnot. But apparently, I guess they've made it a little bit easier for streamers to become affiliated. But I haven't seen like anything like stating that I have. But like the follower count has been lowered. The consecutive viewership is lowered. So you still need the 3 viewers, but I believe it's only for like 4 days or something like that. And yeah, I didn't change the Chaska. That's fine. Actually, I don't know why I did that. I need Aurora on again. We need Aurora for this part. There was another thing that went down in terms of doing it. So like for whatever they stated that I would need before, I have now. So it shouldn't there be a thing to tell you that congratulations, you're an affiliate or whatever? Like this is why I'm not happy that they got rid of like the path part, because I don't know what changed. Like this was only said during TwitchCon apparently. And there's no other information that I can find on Twitch itself to go, hey, by the way. Ugh. Fan, blow this way a little bit. Hit me, but also hit the PlayStation. Oh. I am in the reds. Okay, because that's happening at the same time, there might be a thing for both. Shoot you in the kneecap. Ta-da! So I'm gonna do some digging, possibly after stream, maybe later tonight. Oh, yep, there's the... Oh my good god. On the affiliate part thing. The funny thing was, when it first vanished, the path to affiliate, so I saw this, I think, Monday? Yeah, I think it was the first stream of this week, I noticed it was gone. And I was like, well, I don't like this interface, what the heck? And down at the bottom, it gives like tips for your streams. All well and fine. And it was like, try playing some ads. And I'm like, well, granted, the whole goal was to get, to affiliate is to be able to monetize the streams, make a little scratch kind of situation, right? Like, to actually have revenue. But I'm like, I'm not affiliated. I can't run ads, you stupid thing. But now that's starting to make sense if they changed how to get affiliate. Not that I actually know how to start up ads anyway. Oh my god, that is... There is no in between. It's going red to green. It's going Christmas. Leeway, we gotta go to the teapot. And like I said, I think I'll condense resin on this account, and then, since we're just doing ley lines, so we can just double up tomorrow and do ley lines. No. We've been through this game. Map. No. No. Map. 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 Good job. Here's a tummy rub. Oh, there's the slow-mo again. Yeah, something is up.
Take me up.
Keeping an eye on that ping.
Let's fly.
Ah, meat and potatoes. Good old standby. All right, and me doing that about a half an hour later. And I gotta remember that. It's about a half an hour to 40 minutes later to do the artifact route. Trying to be good and not skip it every time I kind of mess up the timing, but at the same time, I'm like, I don't want to push it back too far. All right, give me a sec. I am going to do a speed test because this is wonky. Oh, oh, oh. Yeah, okay. Our speed is cucked. Our download speed. Upload speed is all right. Upload speed is where more than where it should be. Um, when I stream. So, yeah, our download speed right now is well below what we should have. It's only at 77.9. So, there is a struggle happening with the internet connection, and that's why I am having trouble here. Oh, no, I needed the map. So, I think for the next couple of days, I will run the speed test like that. As, at the first sign of struggle, and see if it's consistent with being that low. And then we got to figure out why the connection's
This
being
realm
throttled.
is truly beginning.
But this is like the second day in a row where we've had trouble, like that big of much trouble of the remote play staying connected. You should be able to get all of those. Yes.
If you ever have.
One lonely knockaweed. Alright, let's go to Fontaine. Alright, let's get my friendship team. I, at the very least, was semi-smart and already did my exploration. Oh, condense the resin first, silly. You know, I really should remember to do my reputation over the weekends. Because I'm noticing how much of a help that crystal fly trap has been.
Astra Abyss.
Shh. I claimed it. What are you talking about? Game is messed up.
Thank you for
You know, I feel like it's been ages since I hit 58. I didn't realize that it would take this long. Although I haven't been like exploring and stuff like that. That makes sense. I know a chunk of AR at one point came from like when Natland came out. Oh, the Final Fantasy pre-release is going on? Neat. What we got? What we got? Not enough to actually hit 50 yet? Really? Really? I mean, I'll get the ley lines by the end of the week. 4,000. 24,000. Is that a new event? Or is that the one that's...
That'll be an extra FIFA.
Oh, I didn't realize there was a new event. Is this another combat event? Well, we'll find out on my main. We'll go on my main and find that out. We have 95 primos. There is no wishing to be had today. Savage. Terra is a beast in the domain desk, it seems. Means little I know. I know nothing about Magic the Gathering. I just know the art is pretty. All right, I'm going to be right back. I'm going to flip accounts. Hopefully, the remote play will behave itself. And we'll be doing prosperity books today for Kaching. So, BRB. Okay, looks like everything's good. I do have to step out, do some work-related things, have fun. Okie dokie. I'll just bring dinner home with me because I'm really hungry now. Okay. Yeah, the Biggie 5 bag is fine. The one I normally get is fine. Or if you want to get a chicken sandwich one for me, that's okay too. If you just want to make it simple, and order the same thing kind of thing. All I ask is maybe a small Frosty to go with it, so I can dunk my fries in it. Yes, I am one of the people that does that, and it's delicious. I might wait one final day and do laundry tomorrow. It is so freaking hot. I will probably roast in the laundry room for the brief time I'm in there. Oh, wow. I'm already down to 10 days on the Welkin. Sheesh. Time flies. Flies. All right. The prosperity domain is actually super quick and easy. I don't necessarily need to condense it like the one for light yesterday. Seriously, why are the enemies so far spread out in that one? Yeesh. All right. Oh, blah, 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 blah. Second verse, same as the first. Grab the artifacts, because these should be up. What? All right. Show of hands. Who's surprised by this? Because I got onto the first account late. Like, we're talking 30 minutes late on that account. So why is this not up? Oh, here we go again. Let's go here then. We'll take care of the books, I guess, and then see if it's up again.
This realm is.
Because it's over an hour, right? Yeah, it's well past 1. All right, and I bought the transient. More than likely, I'll use the transient today. I'm going to buy these. And then in the next couple days, I can get the other books.
If you ever have.
Oh, wait. Uh-huh. Oops. Mint. All right, now that's done. We'll do one more quick look. Probably been about 60 seconds. Huh. So is it like 11? Yeah, 111. Huh. All right. That's really weird. All right, well, it's not too bad. I guess that just means like at 12:30 we do the artifact route on one account, and then at around 1:11 we do it on this one. Oh, no, you know what? It does make a little bit of sense. I was on the other account a little bit longer yesterday because I was trying to do the other event. Yeah, no, it does make sense now why this was a little bit later. I thought I was a little bit more consistent, but no, it was because I was on the other account later because of that, so. I still say the Malvika part of that challenge was absolute garbage. And I will still hold to the argument, if you are forcing us to use trial characters like that, make them level 90, have their talents leveled, which they were at least level 8, which is the cap for level 80, but give them good shit. Like, I don't understand why you wouldn't do what you do in their trial runs. like, uh, for the banners themselves, right? Give them their signatures, give them their stuff, and just have fun. There's no reason to make events like that difficult. It's not an endgame mode or anything like that. It's just a random time-gated event that, we're trying to get those limited resources to have extra pulls.
But we want you to spend your money.
Well, that's not going to make me want to spend money now, is it? It's going to make me turn off the game is what it's going to do.
Ignorant foe.
Attack and front. I'm going in. Fulfill our pact. Get to work. You two. Time to.
Now look, I followed the exact same path and that stupid Fatui didn't, follow me. And I'm lagging here, too. At least I know the cause of this right now. It is the internet. With its very, 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 very bad connection.
Already.
I don't think the heat would have anything to do with the bad connection. Like, storm, sure. Just straight up heat? I don't think so. I am not a technical person, so... or technology person. Oh, okay, okay, we let this settle. Simmer down, simmer down. Okay. I don't remember when the last time I reset the router was, too. It might need a reset. Clunk, clunk. No, one more spot, one more spot. I always forget to go down to this camp for some reason.
Teamwork is dreamwork.
Glad I'm not doing bosses. All I gotta say. So more than likely I'll do bosses on the weekend for the other account. Since I still need to do that and but mostly ley lines. It's mostly ley lines for the alt right now. What? Game. Oh my god. I mean, I don't even know if I can, like, I can blame the game, because we've seen that it's, like, DCing still, too. But, like, this is, like, struggling so much. Clunk. Clunk, clunk. Sitlali.
Rise like smoke.
One day I'll have an impeccably smooth stream. That day is not today. Why did I flip back to early? Now I can flip back to early. I'll be so happy when Skirt comes out. Even if she's bad. Like, if they make her bad, oh. I think the community will revolt. But I'm looking forward to her just to have a new character to actually level.
Everybody stand back. Let's light it, fulfill our pact. You two. Time to end.
I'm very much looking forward to the special program just to finally see what she's gonna do. Like, definitively what she's going to do. Oh, right. I think I'll make plans for that next week. Is look into what her weapon is gonna take, so I have the mats for it. I imagine everything's already available, so I would like to be able to get her weapon. The weapon becomes a worst case scenario. I can use the weapon mats on something else if I get it, but we'll see. We will see. No, no. Get off that early. Oh! Ah! This is so messed up. Get up. Oh my god. What is with climbing that? Some days they do it fine, other days they just struggle and get caught under the railing. Like, I would almost understand Auroron more because he's a taller model and tall models get stuck on the stupidest things. But Sitlali should have been fine. Stop. There goes. Ooh. Alright. Hey, zoom out on the map. I can see again. Yay. Yay. Oh! I think that lag was gonna make me jump right off the edge. Like, no joke. It looked like it was just gonna run right off the edge. I'm, gonna run this again. Did it get worse? No, download speed got better. Download speed got better. Upload speed's where it needs to be. So I'm not quite sure why the remote play now is struggling so much. But there's just a problem with the connection to the Genshin server at this point.
Transfixed. Off to the brief, get to work. Fulfill our pact. Eat Laline, eat Papa.
Backish. Welcome backish. No joke, something outside sounded like a cow. Maybe that's because it's muffled by my headphones, but it totally sounded like a cow. And the window's closed too. I know we closed up the windows this morning because of the heat and try to keep as much cool air in here as possible. I'm still weary of turning on our air conditioner because it hasn't been replaced like it should be. Yeah, I guess we could have flipped to Bennett too. There is no way you should have hit me. But seriously though, they hit hard. Potato and carrot starts to a beef stew. Get down. Stop climbing everything. Alright, that time you have to, but still. Why is it always the treasure hoarders?
Laid bare. A dash of frosting.
Oh, one didn't go off the side of the cliff this time? Color me amazed. Alright. Artifactor done. We are in leeway, so we gotta go... Where's my domain? There's my domain. Well, that took it a second. Alright, you wanna go down there? Yeah, keep going down. Alright. And then it does the oh my god. I think my thing just crashed. Or it's going to. I can't change off of Farina. Oh my god.
Let engraved names echo.
The wind knows me. Silence!
That was the remote play choking on itself. Holy.
Strike a pop.
Bow your head.
That happened on my second account. I would have been so dead.
Bring it. Hear the echoes of the valley.
Settle down.
Ooh.
Wind strike.
Shower me with.
Silence!
Feels like I'm doing that a lot faster than 15 seconds. Hey, a gold.
Let engraved names echo.
Settle down.
I forgot Shallona's thing was going, so... No heals for Farina. Oh my god, could these drops be any worse? Oh. god.
Silence.
Oh no. Oh, we're back at the red, boys. Oh my god, that was no in between. That went from red to green to red. What is happening? Connection why? What'd I do? I'm sorry. I angered the connection gods.
Strike a pop! Hear the echoes of the valley!
All right, one more, one more, one more, and then we'll see what I can do for Kacheng. Oh, come the frick on, game!
Let the mountain's veins boil!
Wind strike.
All right, you can do that too.
Down.
Not letting me change because of that. What is this? Okay, on the map you looked like you were way closer than you are. You will play as the Natlanese heroes mentioned in the Woven Scroll, face Isaurians, claim trial coins, and try to get the highest score possible. Oh, it's this again. I don't want to play with others. Leave me alone. Cool, I got 20 free primos. It's just, can we just have like single player combat or something? Stop making me do PvP or whatever bullshit. Especially when I'm having connection issues. Oh, wait, do I have a... Wait. I never finished leveling up the prototype Rancor? What? Okay, then.
Ad Astra. Thank you for
Okay. Let's just bring back early. Oh, wait. Let's go back and read that. Does that say anything about, like, the voices being patched in? It's an issue where there's a small chance that themed characters from the same... Wait. Okay. So, no, it doesn't. I'm going to guess that the patch for voices won't get patched in until Skirk's release. That is my guess. All right. So what do I have for Kaching right now? Everything's probably going to have to be... Yeah, I only have 3 of these. I can craft 10. So we can bring one of them to level 9, which will definitely be her burst. So let's go and grab those. So, filter, Kaching. Burst. We do need the Whopper Flower Nectars, so I'm just going to make all of these. Thank you, Sucrose. And I am just going to make 60 of those. We'll leave it like that. We want Xingqiu on these ones. He did not pop off, and we want Layla for these. And she gave me 2. All right, she actually gave me enough to actually do one of the things, so that's cool. I don't think we'll beat Eula from yesterday. I was not expecting to get 7 from her. Alright, there we go. Level 9. Alright. Actually, I did say I would do this.
Time itself is a silent.
We have one, we might as well use it. Yeah, I don't need to change the party, I can just do that at the domain. And we'll go back in for another 3 runs. It's not going to make it so that we can get any, levels, but we'll at least have a good jump on the next one. Blam. Of course, it's when I go into a domain that the connection does that. It was fine in Fontaine.
Silence. Can't run from death.
Give me gold. That's not a gold. No gold for me.
Letting brave names echo!
Wind Strider. Settle down. Can't run from death.
And one more.
Bring it!
Silence. Can't run from death.
Easy peasy. Okay. Bring me back to Fontaine. Home sweet home of Fontaine. Okay. Okay, so these are the, like, score limits and stuff, right? Yeah. You get 2,000 for one day, and then 4,000, and then after 1 day and 15 hours. So every 2 days, it looks like this opens. Was it 4,000 or was 5,000 the limit? 5,000 was the limit the last time, right? Or 6,000? Or something like that. So it's like 2 updates after? Because this only has like a week, right? Yeah, roughly. Yeah.
Melusines are beautiful.
Unfortunately, I don't have anything for pulls here. But, savings be looking like 52 plus 9, so I have 61 at the moment, plus the glitter. Which right now is 7. Okay, so we're getting close to actually seeing a 5-star with just the pulls I have. So that's good, but we got to keep in mind we are on 50-50. So not bad, not bad at all. And I'll get whatever primos I can get from that event. So, all right, I am just going to call it there. One, I didn't know the event was just mini games. I thought it was going to be another combat one, because if it was a combat one, I would just do it on my main. But with the connection issues I'm suffering right now, yeah, I'm just gonna let the equipment rest. It might be the heat causing some of it. Like my PlayStation's emitting a lot more heat right now than normal. So I am just gonna let that cool off. How's my PC feeling? PC feels fine. It's not like roasting or anything like that. And I also have a cooling fan underneath it to help that. Uh, so yeah, thank you all for listening to me at the beginning of stream about what is happening. I figure, since I do have a platform where I can voice some stuff, I wanted to voice that just because I understand that it's also like, public work like that, public service and whatnot. It can take its toll on somebody and whatever, but you got to have the cojones if you're gonna work in a place like that to put your own personal feelings aside and do what's best for the people that are seeking the help and not be rude and uncaring. And that's ultimately what I had felt from that one person through the whole situation. So be kind, okay? When someone's struggling, just do your best to listen. Um, and if there's somebody very close to you, just be there however you can be. There might not be a lot you can do, but the very least you can just be an ear, a shoulder to cry on, or something, and just let them know that somebody's there for them. I'll see you guys tomorrow, hopefully with a better internet connection. I make no promises. But also keep in mind that we are supposed to be experiencing thunderstorms starting around like 8 a.m. If I deem it just too looking too bad, like I'm hearing a lot more rumbles of thunder or if I see flashes, I will post a blue sky that I will not be on because I can't risk losing another PlayStation. So, yeah. I will see you all tomorrow. Take care, everyone. That's not what I meant to hit. That was my microphone stuff. One thing after another. Bye, guys.